example, for a married person, the yoni of the woman is a yajna kund, and the virya that he offers is the ahuti. And that they are not doing whimsically. They will do it under the order of Guru. What is that? Dharma viruddho bhuteshu kamosmi bharatarshava. By that, the child born will be raised in Krishna consciousness. So that means they are allowed to indulge their senses in regulated sense gratification. Correct, na? Like a grihastha can say, a man can say in the morning, please today cook this particular bhoga in the morning for the Lord. And they can eat. But brahmachari cannot demand anything. So brahmachari, grihastha, they are given two different set of instructions. Like brahmachari is told, don't talk to women. But grihastha is told, go to a woman, get married. Correct, na? Different instruction. Brahmachari said, just depend on Krishna. Don't accept any job or salary. Grihastha is told, go and accept a job, accept a salary and maintain wife and children. Correct, no? Brahmachari is told, don't do any other work other than Guru Seva. Whatever is given in the ashrama by Guru, only do that much. The Grihastha will also follow the order of Guru, but he has to at the same time do some job to earn his livelihood. He is allowed. So in this way, you will find two different set of instructions for two ashramas, but ultimately both leading to the same goal of going back to Godhead. So Grihasthas use senses and engaging the senses and sense objects with the regulated way given by Guru. And brahmacharis are supposed to only awaken realization by hearing process. Correct? It says like that. So we can understand vidya and avidya simply by hearing, and hearing produces knowledge, and knowledge produces understanding, understanding produces realization eventually, and then realization gradually goes to even more higher stage of revelations from the Supreme Lord. So in this way, that's why you will find some sannyasis are able to give advice even to grihasthas without even getting married themselves. How? Because the wisdom becomes more ripe because of their faithful practice of the renounced order and devotional service. So they get direction from Super Soul to give guidance to others. So in this way, we are living in a world where there is both wisdom on one hand and nescience on the other. Vidya and avidya, both are there. One more meaning of this I'll tell you. It is not enough for you to be an innocent and nice person. You should not be naive. Otherwise you will be cheated. Correct, no? One should be very intelligent also. One should be expert. For example, you have heard the word shrewd, you heard? Shrewd means very intelligent and knows how not to get cheated. How not to get cheated, how not to get exploited, how not to be looted, how according to Desh Kala Patra, time, place, circumstance, make the right decision at the right time, and how not to speak the right thing at the wrong time. One example I'll tell you. Like some parent came and told, Prabhuji, our daughter got 94% in 10th standard. Just we came to temple to take darshan. And imagine the brahmachari tells them, oh, 10th standard results are out. Today morning only one parent came and told me that their son got 98% in 10th standard. And now I heard your daughter got 93%, if he says. Will they be encouraged or discouraged? So is this brahmachari speaking the right thing or wrong thing? At the? Don't speak the right thing at the wrong time. It requires little intelligence. Oh, 93%, that's great. Very nice. Now that, your daughter has finished her 10th standard, maybe you can, tell her to start chanting 1 or 2 rounds at least now. No more anxiety of 10th standard. Krishna has given her good intelligence now to get good marks now. Now let she also take to spiritual life. She couldn't chant before, now let she chant. If he says, that will be a good addition. So we should know what to speak when. That requires some amount of intelligence, isn't it? So in the same manner, it is not enough to only know Shastras, which will be bookish knowledge. Prabhupada writes in Bhagavad Gita, bookish knowledge without realization is useless. Prabhupada writes there. In Bhagavad Gita, you'll find out this sentence. So, because if you are naive and you only have bookish knowledge, you will be cheated by Maya very easily. There are some brahmacharis in Kanishta stage, they apply the rules very superficially without understanding the depth and breadth and depth of it. They're like that we hear about that Paramartha Guru. Once Paramartha Guru, it's a very famous story in South India. Guruji is going in one horseback and disciple is going in another horseback. Tak, 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 horses are galloping and going ahead. At one point of time, Guru's baggage fell off. Disciple saw that, but he didn't pick up. After going another 5 kilometers, Guru asked the disciple, hey, my luggage is not there in my horseback. What happened? Oh, Guruji, that fell 5 kilometers ago. Oh, you saw it? I saw it. Then why you didn't pick up? But it is not in your instruction, you didn't give me. He was telling like that. And Guruji said, my Lord, what kind of disciple you are? You are watched with your eyes, you didn't pick up. What a foolish disciple I have. Then he told the Guru, whatever list you give me, I will pick up. So the Guru picked up, wrote many items and he gave. So in one of the places, when the horse was galloping, Guru himself was thrown off And he fell, and the disciple didn't pick him up. And Guru is shouting, "Hey, disciple, take a U-turn, come back and pick me up." "Sorry, Guruji, your name is not in the list." Because the list is given. Then Guruji said, "What a foolish disciple I have. I have to give you every small thing. You should use your intelligence. It's called presence of mind, we call it. Use your presence of mind. Even though I'm not given the list, I have fallen, my hands, legs are paining. Now come and pick me up." Then he came back and picked up Guruji and put him on the horseback. And they were going. Then after some distance, his horse was about to pass stool. Immediately he got down, took a baggage, and then showed him. He put the stool inside there. And then he went and gave to Guruji. "Henceforth, I have decided, if anything falls off the horse, I'll pick up, so I don't earn a bad name." And he went and showed to Guru. Guru was saying, "Nasty smell." He said, "What a foolish fellow you are. Who in this world will pick up the stool of a horse?" But Guruji, I decided that because you are angry with me for not picking up, I'll pick up anything and everything that falls. So you understand what I'm saying? This fellow is really nuts, we can say. It's such a crazy fellow. He is applying the instructions very superficially, without understanding how to act at the, we had made a policy in the camp temple that brahmacharis, if they are going in a sumo or something, the Matajis also want to come, they should go in another car. They should not come in the same vehicle. It's not good to have a few brahmacharis, few Matajis going together. It will not be proper etiquette if some Maharaja is giving some program somewhere. Earlier, sometimes they used to go like that in a big vehicle. But we made a policy that, brahmacharis and students can go in one vehicle. Matajis, girls, children, they can all go in another vehicle. We made this policy. And it was nicely followed. One day, one brahmachari's grandmother came to the temple and she had lost all her tooth. She's 85, 82 or 83 years old. Like that. Holding a stick, her whole body is shaking. Completely only bones are seen. She said that she is very old, so they had brought her to take darshan and all. And after some time, she may not be able to move at all. Therefore, they brought her for darshan. And there was some program, Bhagavad Katha or something happening outside. She wanted to go for the program, so we put her in the front seat in sumo. Told all brahmacharis, you all can sit behind. One brahmachari said, "No, Prabhuji, this is against our policy. Because Mataji is there in the gadi, I cannot travel in this." So how many of you understand it's a fanatical application? Correct, no? So he doesn't know when to break a smaller rule for a greater rule. Correct, no? So therefore, one should know while living in this world how to. Therefore, it said vidyam sa vidyam chesadvedo bhayam sa. Even preaching Krishna consciousness requires, to know in each situation how to behave differently according to people. So Prabhupada used to say that you should know little of everything, something of everything, and everything of something. Everything of something is Krishna consciousness, and something of everything is like little banking you should know, little Ayurveda you should know, little about the news, what's going on in the world you should know, little about science versus Vedas you should know. You should know about everything little. You have some knowledge, and about Krishna consciousness you should know thoroughly, because that's the basis on which you are going to defend this movement. Other things we should have at least some knowledge. Otherwise, people are asking you a question, you're going somewhere. People are suddenly asking you a question. Do you know what happened about the gang rape in Hyderabad? That fellow, one police took them to the forest and shot those 3 fellows. According to you, Shastra, what do you think? Is it right or wrong? People will ask you a question like that. So you can say that, actually, I will not say right or wrong about this incident. But what they would do in the Vedic times, that I can tell you. In Vedic times, if a man molests a woman or man murders somebody, then they were given death sentence in those days, by which he is relieved of the sin by that punishment. So sometimes you are not aware of the latest news, correct? So sometimes I have one devotee who sends me the monthly news, about 4 or 5 pages. So I don't have to go into internet and find out. He just collects and just sends in 5 or 6 pages. So I know what's happening there. Alternate weeks or so he sends. So it becomes very easy. You understand? So especially if somebody is a leader, they have to be aware of a little bit of what is going on around. Something of everything, and everything of something, like Prabhupada said. So therefore, knowing about avidya, for example, Prabhupada, when he went to America, many questions people asked. Correct, no? So Prabhupada is saying, nowadays, there are so many newspapers, bunch of newspapers being printed, in the West, and people are watching movies, and people are slaughtering animals in thousands of slaughterhouses, and man and woman are coming close to each other and aborting their children. So how Prabhupada is able to speak all these things? Because he is a little bit aware of the world situation, correct, no? According to the how now, for example, Shastras will not say, when you say we should not watch, movies, and sometimes we heavily criticize TV. Correct, no? TV brings all kinds of useless serials which are not having any connection to God. Somebody can argue with you. Where is it given in Bhagavad Gita? Na pasyatam duradarshanam or something like that. Anywhere it says one should not watch TV. Is there any instruction Krishna gives to Arjuna? Anybody can say, how will you connect this not watching TV to the Bhagavad Gita? Krishna says, Dhyayato Vishayan Pumsaha. That is the connection. So if you contemplate on Vishayan in the television, then your mind will become polluted. So in this way, one should be able to bring Shastra down to earth in a way applicable to modern times and see what is happening in modern times and connect it to Shastra. Then by these two things, you get Shastra Chakshu. You get the divine eyes to see the world in a proper perspective. Like I had gone to one global conference. One of the things, of course, sometimes religious conferences, sometimes other global conferences. One such conference I had gone, I think it was Gandhi, I think it was a national conference only, Gandhi related. So one Swami had come from another organization. So he was speaking interesting thing. He said 5,000 years ago, Lord Krishna, he danced on Kaliya and, drove Kaliya out of Yamuna because Kaliya had poisoned Yamuna, very badly. So Lord Krishna drove out and made the Yamuna waters very serene and pure and made all the Vijayavasis happy. And then he said, similarly, the modern day industries are like Kaliya, he said. And they are sending all types of pollutants into the rivers. So we again pray to Lord Krishna that again he comes and dances on the head of these industrialists and cleanses their, impure toxins in their minds so that they don't pollute holy rivers like Ganga and Yamuna. So now how many of you feel it's a beautiful connection? Correct, no? Interesting, isn't it? So, and he also said, सब लोग बोल रहे हैं गंगा बचाओ यमुना बचाओ. He said, क्या बचाओ? माँ को बेटा कैसे बचा सकता है? You are saying that a small baby in the lap of the mother. Mother is protecting the baby, not that baby is protecting mother. And then he said, if you really want to save Ganga Yamuna, dur hat jao, go far away from the river. Allow her to simply flow. She will cure herself. You are saying bachao, bachao, but you are putting so much pollution into the river. The best way you can protect nature is to not hurt it. Treat the nature like a mother. So like that he was telling. I found it very interesting, correct, no? So therefore we should be able to connect, bring the Shastra to the modern day people in a way understandable to them. So now you see the translation again, read it. Only
one who can learn the process of nescience and that of transcendental knowledge side by side can transcend the influence of repeated birth and death and enjoy the full blessings of immortality.
Actually, the religionists in India were all sitting in mathas, in the holy dhams, chanting, studying Shastra, having Gita Path, Bhagavad Path, Bhagavad Saptah in India. And the Westerners were into science, research, publication of papers, establishing big education institutions where 30,000, 40,000 students come. In America, institutions are like that. And, making rockets, making aeroplanes, making high-speed trains, making television, making mobiles. And there is a big gap between the two. So who came and bridged the gap? Prabhupada. That's a bit, because he knows Vidya both. He knows what is transcendental knowledge and he knows what these guys are doing, how they're meddling with nature and how they are exploiting nature and getting kicks from nature. He can see that. So he knows Vidya. So he could actually bridge the gap between the two. And therefore is spread all over the world. You will see that. And following in Prabhupada's footsteps, we can also, combine. Therefore we say science and spirituality. The fundamentals of science and spirituality. So then the modern people will be interested that these people are presenting in a way that is understandable to the modern mindset, modern mind. So now where we left, from there you continue. From his kingdom.
From his kingdom, the personality of Godhead sends his bona fide servants to propagate this message by which one can return to Godhead. And sometimes the Lord comes himself to do this work. Since all living beings are his beloved sons, his parts and parcels, God is more sorry than we ourselves to see the sufferings we are constantly undergoing in this material condition. The miseries of this material world serve to indirectly remind us of our incompatibility with dead matter. Intelligent living entities generally take note of these reminders and engage themselves in the culture of Vidya, or transcendental knowledge. Human life is the best opportunity for the culture of spiritual knowledge, and a human being who does not take advantage of this opportunity is called a Naradhama, the lowest of human beings.
The lowest of human beings. So, and then subsequently, in the next para, it is connected to this. Okay, I will explain this and then we will come to that example later, I think. Yeah. Okay, we will do one thing. You leave one para, two paras, and come to third para. Read that. This does not mean. Read that.
This does not mean that all activities for the maintenance of the body should be stopped. There is no question of stopping activities, just as there is no question of wiping out one's temperature altogether when trying to recover from a disease. To make the best use of a bad bargain is the appropriate expression. The culture of spiritual knowledge necessitates the help of the body and mind. Therefore, maintenance of the body and mind is required if we are to reach our goal. The normal temperature should be maintained at 98.6 degrees, and the great sages and saints of India have attempted to do this by a balanced program of spiritual and material knowledge. They never allow the misuse of human intelligence for diseased sense gratification.
Yeah, correct. See, this is a very important point. Just now, the 2 points which we discussed now. Prabhupada gives a nice example. Our body is like a car. You can put water in the car just like we drink water. Where do you put water in the car? Radiator. Where do you put air in the car? Tire. We are also putting air, isn't it? And we are drinking water. And where do you put the petrol in the car? You have a tank. Similarly, you also put food for the body, correct, for the functioning of the body to get energy. Because in the petrol only the car gets energy to move, isn't it? So, and the car has 4 wheels, so we also have 2 hands and 2 legs, isn't it? Car has a horn, bomb, so we also speak with the mouth. So therefore, bodily analogy is very correct to the car, isn't it? And but there is a driver of the car, correct? No? The Prabhupada says that once a man has washed the car with a hose pipe and put petrol, put water, air, clean the car and everything. Once you sit in the car, do you ever think of the car? After that, what do you think about? Business and the destination. Correct? Now I have to go to some clients. I have to recover some money. I have to go to company now. So nobody will ever dream about the car. Once you sit in the car, once basic things are done. Same thing, you get up in the morning, you brush your teeth, you take your bath, you eat your food. Correct, no? And then in case you are a little unhealthy, go to the doctor, put some tablets or something, and then go ahead. And once then the day starts, what you should think about? Should you think about the body? You should think about the duty you have to perform while you are seated in this body, which is what? Kamasyanendriya pritir labho jiveta yavata jivasya tattva jignasa narto yascheha karmabihi. He says, Kamasyana indriya pritir. Don't try to aggravate your desires by doing indriya tarpan or sense gratification. But in the daytime, what people do, they go to beauty parlor to decorate their, what do you call this? Eyebrows, special hairstyles. Nowadays, there is, men's beauty parlor also. There is women's beauty parlor. And they design their mustache, beards, French beard and different beards, correct, no? Mustache, there are 24 type of hairstyles. And our Hare is 25th one. Isn't it? Yeah. So many type of hairstyles they have. Some people keep like this. You've seen that? Some people say, what kind of hairstyle they keep? Crazy, huh? Color also, yeah. Different brown color, pink color, and all kinds of things. Isn't it? And similarly, you go to the clothes shop. Nowadays, it's like a big playground. They have so many, beginning with 200, 300 rupees, it goes till 5,000, 8,000 rupees also dresses. So many sections are there. How many type of clothes, how many type of watches, how many type of belts, how many type of footwears, how many type of socks, and how many types of mobiles. So if you think about the world filled with so many material facilities for the material body, and the same education institutions which are supposed to enlighten you, they have so many subjects you will see for the earth, water, fire, or ether. You will find for the earth there is strength of materials, theory of machines and all that. And for water there is hydraulics and fluid machinery. For the fire there is heat and mass transfer, isn't it? And for the air there is turbo machinery. And for the ether there is acoustic physics. Then for the mind and intelligence there is psychology and psychiatry, mind, intelligence and ego, isn't it? And all this is being taught in colleges except the Atma, the most important thing. That means they are giving all importance to the car without the driver. But driver, according to them, driver is not important. Everything else is important. So can the car move even 1 inch, tell me? Millions of years car will stand in one place. Therefore you find in the modern times, see, we have to show the fallacy of the modern day education. And how Prabhupada showed it. When he went to America, Prabhupada challenged teachers, professors, and the priests and other people in America. He asked them, Falena Parchete, he said. He said, look at your universities, they are producing hippies. That the children are not worshiping, are not obeying the teachers, they are not obeying the parents, they are not obeying the government, they are not obeying the police, and they are becoming reprobates. And this is a gift that you are given to the youth generation in your college. So that was one thing Prabhupada used to say in many lectures. Another thing he said is, you are building a skyscraper buildings, 200 tower, 200 floor building, so that people can, many students go there and jump off to commit suicide. There are innumerable examples. You can see the suicide rate. Go to Google search and find out in different countries. So Prabhupada said, if suicides are increasing, divorce is increasing, criminalism is increasing, number of jails are increasing, drug addiction is increasing, and hippies are increasing, is it a sign of happiness? That's how Prabhupada challenged it. So you have to show that what you are teaching is not helping the society. Rather, it is actually becoming a cancer in society. So would you like to have cancer in the body or you would like to have a healing cell in the body? So then Prabhupada said that this Krishna consciousness is like a healing cell. So we have come here to give you the right culture and the right wisdom to increase the healing cells in your society, so that you can remove the cancer cells and replace them by healing cells. Actually, this is how Prabhupada preached very powerfully. He showed the fruits of, the roots are bad, so the fruits are also bad, he said. Because, like for example, if you put a bubble seed, then you get bubble tree. Bubble tree means what? Which tree? Thorny bushes, yeah. But if you put mango seed, you get mango fruits. So Prabhupada said, what education are you giving? You see what kind of people you are producing. What is the class of people you are producing? On the other hand, Prabhupada showed very sweet fruits coming from his training program. Correct, no? Like in San Francisco, the girls like Malati Mataji and other ladies, they would go in the morning to market type of place, and when they would go to bring vegetables, they would do kirtans, like we do kirtan. And all the shopkeepers would come out very happily, they would give vegetables, fruits, groceries, oil, ghee. They got very easily. They got, because what the shopkeepers would talk to each other, they would say that, hey, these youths were never, like this, what you are seeing them now. Now they are very bright faced, they are wearing tilak and they are singing godly songs, and they have become very pure in their character. This Swamiji who has come from East has really made a transformation of heart in their lives. And they are so clean in habits, they are so gentle in speech, and you can see them dancing in the street and distributing spiritual books and leading a very satisfied life, doing welfare work for the people of the world. Were they like this before? It is a radical transformation. And many professors came to see Prabhupada's temple. And they openly told Prabhupada, many professors, like Harvey Cox, for example, like that, many people like that. They came and appreciated Prabhupada. Some of the professors were so deeply appreciative. There are letters written by them. Swamiji, you have done a really magic, miracle. Nobody could control these youths in America, but the kind of transformation you have brought about is miraculous. So Prabhupada showed the result of modern day civilization, and he showed the result of instituting Vedic culture, and therefore ISKCON spread very rapidly. So now coming back to this point here, when you get fever, yes, fever, the symptoms of fever are good or bad. For example, you feel heat in the body, you feel bitterness in the tongue, you feel uneasiness, you feel like lying down, and you lie down, you feel like sitting down. When you sit down again, you feel like lying down, isn't it? And then you can't eat good food. You have to eat only some vegetable soups or something. So are the symptoms good or bad? How many of you say bad? Okay, how many of you say good? Yeah, Prabhupada says good. I'll tell you why. Why it is good. If these symptoms are not visible in your body, will you go to doctor? Similarly, in this world, miseries are good or bad? Good. Why it is good? Then you go to Guru. If Arjuna did not cry in the beginning of battle, would he have taken message of Bhagavad Gita seriously? Therefore, miseries are good. Miseries are indicators of our situation in a wrong place. So there's a story Prabhupada often used to say. It's called Praharir Dhananjay. Once your father had one son and 10 daughters, and all of them got married and went to different places. So one time all the married daughters came with their husbands to their father's place for some festival. It was actually a 1 week long festival. 1 week everybody celebrated, but then after 1 week, only 5 families went back, other 5 were still staying back. And the father was wondering, hey, these guys are still staying for 1 more week? And he had a question mark on his head. How long are they going to stay? And he called his son and said, hey, our expenditures are shooting up. These fellows, we called them for 1 week long festival and they are still staying for 2 weeks. What to do? And the son said, see, your prasadam is very special. You are giving purao, kadi, rasamalai, puranpoli, gulab jamun, rasagulla. These items, if you give, then who will not stay? And it's summer vacation time also now. So their children are not having any school. So they will stay for another 2 months. So then father asked, what to do? He said, cut down, he said. And just give only rice or sabji. No chapati, no paratha, no other item. Then the father made very simple, rice or sabji. Another, 3 families went away. Now two stayed back. They're hanging around still. Father asked, better, now 2 are staying, what to do? He said, don't give sabji also, only rice and dal. Then 1 family went away. But this Dhananjay family was still there. If any of you have a name called Dhananjay, please don't take any offense. It is not about you, surely. It is another Dhananjay. So, so that Dhananjay family was staying. And father asked, this fellow is here for 2 months. What to do with this fellow now? And the son said, don't worry, tomorrow we will go back, wait and watch. So next day morning, this Dhananjay was sleeping inside a blanket. And this fellow son went with a stick and part hit him. And that fellow jumped up with the blanket and ran away. So father was happy that he was driven out. So Prabhupada uses this story to teach a nice lesson. What is the lesson? Can anybody say? What lesson Prabhupada teaches through this? Anybody? It's called Prahara Dhananjay. Prahar. He got Prahar, then he learned a lesson. Yeah, yes.
The conditioned living entity in this material world, he tends to become very comfortable with his material life. So the miseries that are imposed by the material nature, so they give impetus to look for the higher dimension of life, the spiritual life, and go to
Actually, the misery in this world are actually pushing us. Like sometimes too much cold. Correct, no? In the morning, sometimes we are sitting for the class, cold, the wind is coming, we feel so uneasy, then we close the door, isn't it? Or sometimes it is too hot, the summer season, isn't it? So what the living entity does, if summer is too hot, he says, no problem, we'll make a AC room. Yeah. If winter is too cold, he says, maybe I can wear a blanket or I'll put a sweater around me. Correct, no? So the living entity, what he does when Maya Devi is giving sufferings, he doesn't think of going back to Godhead. Rather, what he thinks? थोड़ा adjust करके चलेंगे, huh? First we will adjust and stay here. We'll continue staying like that is thinking. And this is what is condemned. Because the purpose of Maya Devi giving suffering is to make us realize that now these are smaller sufferings, which I told you. Can you talk about bigger sufferings? Anybody? Yeah.
Natural catastrophes like tsunamis, even pandemics.
They come very rarely. They also come. Pandemic. This year we are suffering. But they are very rare. I am asking something very easily realizable. Some death of the near and dear ones in the family are very painful for us. Mother, father, grandmother, grandfather. Anything else? Accidents also. Accidents are also not very common. But they happen on and off. It can happen. What else? Disease. Yeah, disease is a very famous one, isn't it? And even simpler than disease, I'll tell you. Until now, you all are young boys. Young. But after you cross 30, you will get this realization. If you eat simple foods, it digests very easily. But your mind will want simple food or opulent food. But opulent food will not digest very easy. So there are people who are 60 years, 70 years, 80 years. They go to doctor for so many diseases and all. And doctor will tell them, see, you don't have to come to me at all, provided you eat simple food. Out of the two, bakari is tasty or chapati is tasty. Yeah. So tongue wants which one, bakari or chapati? But if you are satisfied with bakari, you have no problem. It's very easy to digest, especially those who are 30 plus, 40 plus. When you cross 30, 40, you eat bakari, very smoothly it will digest, and all day can be very brisk. Only it will be very simple item, correct? But if you cultivate attraction for bakari right from, when you are 15 or 20 years old, lifelong you can take bakari, no problem. It will be very healthy. But if you eat opulent foods, puri is even more attractive, right? How the tongue feels. Big puffed up puri. They bring very nice, no? Samosa, crispy samosa you like, isn't it? Very gulab jamun. All maida items are attractive. Very nice it is, yeah, for eating. But after eating, it's like, once goes in, doesn't come out very easily, correct, no? So why I'm telling you, in this world, many things that are not good for us are attractive. Material world. One lesson you can learn, like a man is taught, if you're marrying, you should be satisfied with your wife. You should not look at another beautiful woman. The Chanakya teaches that. Matrava Paradareshu. In the same manner that this goal of life is not eating opulent foods and remaining here, because you can't remain here forever. Body is temporary. Therefore, you are allowed to eat some nice food till the age of 20, 25, 30, 40, 30, whatever. And after that, one should simplify food, simplify eating, sleeping, mating, defending. Mating also is kept for what? Reproduction. Yeah, it's kept for procreation purpose. It is not for enjoyment. It is kept. So when one man is marrying, he begets 2, 3 children. After that, he and his wife become inclined to spiritual life along with children. Then they can lead a happy life actually. Both are spiritual minded. Just like brahmacharis can lead a happy life, grihasthas can also lead very happy spiritual life. But if a man is hankering for enjoyment, even after 30, 40, 50, if he thinks, oh, my wife has become very fat now let me look for another slim girl, somebody else. Then he goes for illicit connection, and then illicit connection means so many sufferings. He'll be beaten up by some girl's relatives. He'll be put behind the bars. He has to pay a heavy fine. In train, they put board, you've seen that. Don't show extra affection to women. You'll be asked to pay 5,000 rupees fine. Correct, no? They write. Why? Because some men are uncontrolled in their dealing with opposite sex or in their eating habits. You understand, no? So in this way, to the degree the living entity is uncontrolled in his senses, to that degree in this world he has to suffer more and more. Therefore, I told you, material contact produces misery, spiritual contact produces bliss. So, actually, our Vaishnava lifestyle gives you enormous opportunity for increasing spiritual contact. Can you give some examples? No examples. Huh? Yeah, like right now, what you are doing is spiritual contact. Studying the contacting the scriptures. And that's for the intelligence, purifying for the intelligence. We get awakened more and more. Then, yeah, chanting is for what? For the mind. Cleansing the mind to make it free from kama, krodha, lobha. It's wonderful, no? It's actually a virus remover. Mahamantra is a virus scanner and virus remover. It can scan various lust, anger, and greed and remove it. Wonderful. What else? Right darshan for the eyes and services. With which one you do services? With the body, mind, and words. Kaya, vacha, manasa, pravritti. Correct, no? So you can render varieties of services we render. So for every sense, there is a service available. Correct, no? With the ears, we hear Shravanam, we do. With the mouth, you can glorify the Lord. You can sing Kirtan, correct, no? Similarly, with the eyes, you can take darshan of the deity. With the nose, we can smell the flower offered to the Lord. With our head, we can bow down. With our leg, we can walk to temple. Correct, no? Every sense. So senses, mind, intelligence, ego, they all can be purified in Krishna consciousness. Senses are purified by Rishikena, Rishikesha, Sevanam, Bhakti Ruchade. And mind is purified by chanting Mahamantra. Intelligence is purified by study of the scriptures. And ego is purified by living in the company of devotees and taking feedback from them and purifying our life. By that, yeah. And the soul is purified by Adhyatma Vidya, it is said, by the Atma Vidya, or by awakening the soul to the spiritual knowledge. And the soul gets completely purified. And this way, everything can be purified practicing spiritual life. So this spiritual contact, which I told you just now, if you keep mostly spiritual contact, avoid mental contact, then you have no misery at all in this world. There is no, you will not know the spelling of misery also. You will completely be free from misery because you are completely enveloped by what? Spiritual contact only. Therefore, Prahalad, although his father tortured him in varieties of ways, he was blissfully situated because he was always contacting only spiritual substances, always. Like what are spiritual substances? The deity form of the Lord, the holy name, the holy devotees, the holy prasadam, the holy Nam Sankirtan, the holy temple, the holy day, Divya Desams, holy places, the holy scriptures. So there are so many number of holy items all around us. Keep on contacting, go from one holy item to another. Don't go for material contact. And what is material contact? Dhanam, Janam, Sundarim. Especially material contact doesn't mean only Dhanam, Janam, Sundarim. Using them for our bhog. And taking them for our own enjoyment. Of course, we can take the material items and use it in Krishna service carefully. That is also glorified. Nirbandha, Krishna Sambandhe, Yuktam Vairagya Muchate. If you cannot do that, then keep only holy contact, spiritual contacts. So, therefore, just like Prabhupada says, fever is mentioned here, example is given. Similarly, the misery of the material world serve to indirectly remind us of our incompatibility with dead matter. Actually, soul is by nature spiritual, is Anuchid Vastu. He has to enjoy the company of Brihachid Vastu. Who is Brihachid Vastu? Krishna. We are Anuchid Vastu. But both are what Vastu? Chedu Vastu. Otherwise, we go for Jada Padartha. Chedu Vastu and Jada Padartha cannot have any sweet exchanges. Just like, it's like, you all know what is popcorn. How many of you like popcorn? Yeah. See, but there is also thermocol looking like popcorn. Round thermocol also is there. If you eat thermocol, how will you feel? That's like the spiritual contacting matter is like that. But spiritual contacting supreme spiritual is like eating popcorn. Very tasty. So, therefore, one has to, the spirit exchange with the Supreme Lord is very wonderful. Now, somebody may say, what about me contacting other spirits without the Supreme Lord? And that is also pain producing. Why? Because we don't see the other spirit as spirits. We see them as material bodies. I am a man. She's a woman. I am the father. Here is my baby. Like what Chitraketu thought. Chitraketu was attached to his son. And Purura was attached to a woman, Urvashi. So you cannot enjoy the company of another spirit seeing them as material bodies. You will suffer. But if you see them as pure spirit soul, then immediately Krishna comes into picture because they're whose part and parcel? Krishna's part and parcel. So therefore, one has to have these three visions: matter, spirit, and controller of both. Like that. So therefore, Prabhupada says here, culture of Vidya, yeah. Human life is the best opportunity for the culture of spiritual knowledge. And human being who does not take advantage of the opportunity is called Naradhama. So there are three types of Naradhama. Prabhupada says, if you go to that verse, Namam Drishtituna Mudha, I'll just show you that. Here, Prapadyanti Naradhama, no? So Prabhupada says here, who is Naradhama? Here you will say. So first he explains about the Mudas, Here you see here. Please read this.
Another class of Dushkriti or miscreant is called Naradhama.
Okay, so for the first type of Naradhama is, out of 8.4 million species only, 4 lakh are human species, and most of them are numerously lower forms. And then you read this one. Here, this one. The civilized.
The civilized human beings are those who have regulative principles of social, political, and religious life. Those who are socially and politically developed but who have no religious principles must be considered Naradhamas.
Yeah, that means socially means they have job, they are doing job also, making money. And politically means they have structure, MLA, MP, Chief Minister, Prime Minister, they have a political thing and all going on. That means, organization of the country is going on and people are doing job and making money, but they have no religious principles. That's the first class of Naradama. That means they are not God-centered. Civilized doesn't mean he has a coat, boot, suit, tie and all that. There are many people who are Naradamas wearing all that also. And then second one is saying, read it.
Nor is religion without God religion, because the purpose of following religious principles is to know the supreme truth and man's relation with him. In the Gita, the personality of Godhead clearly states that there is no authority above him and that he is the supreme truth.
Yeah.
The civilized form of human life is meant for man's reviving the lost consciousness of his eternal relation with the supreme truth, the personality of Godhead Sri Krishna, who is all-powerful. Whoever loses this chance is classified as a Naradhama.
Or some people appear to be religious externally, like we find there are so many religious festivals during Ganapati Bappa Moria time or during this Durga Puja time and all. People appear to be doing something so-called religious, but they are hearing rock music, correct? No? So that is also Naradhama, Prabhupada says, because there are many people who have no faith in God, like Buddhism, for example. So they are not having any program for reviving their lost consciousness relationship with the Lord. Rather, they use religion to their advantage of sense gratification. So that is also a second type of Naradhama. And the third Naradhama is when one is a baby in the mother, he prays to God for deliverance. But then after his deliverance, the child forgets the difficulties of birth in the womb that he suffered. But if all the parents did not undergo Garbhadan Sanskar and begot a child like cats and dogs, that is also Naradhama, he says. So 99% of the population is Naradhama, Prabhupada is saying. And then next he says,
when the whole population becomes Naradhama, naturally, all their so-called education is made null and void by the all-powerful energy of physical nature.
Yeah, so in this Prabhupada explains what is Naradhama, explains. Okay. And then after this, okay. And the next Prabhupada is saying, the path of avidya or advancement of material knowledge for sense gratification is the path of repeated birth and death. So this is the path of avidya, he explains. What is it? That means modern day material scientific education oriented only for pampering the senses. That means, animals are eating in streets. Modern man is making 3-star, 5-star, 7-star hotels. You can see the big hotels. There is a rotating hotel also, which is like a big building at the top. The whole room is a glass room, which is rotating like this while eating. Is there anything? Ultimately, eating food only. What is the advantage in simply rotating, looking around the city and eating? They are increasing the sophistication in eating. Similarly, they have a space age bed. They call it. You know that? If you lie in the space age bed in the morning, if you keep alarm clock, it will just shake you like this. Just cajole you to wake up like that. In winter season, they put hot water inside the bed, so you'll feel very warm. In summer season, they put cold water, and if you don't get up on time, it can topple like that. It can roll you to the. So there are many things you can do, many mechanisms they may have. Space age bed. So, but ultimately, what is the activity people do in that? Sleep. And a dog may be sleeping in the platform, railway platform or somewhere in the street, correct? But ultimately, once they close their eyes, what are they doing? They're sleeping. Is it not true? Yeah. So the point is what? Modern man is increasing his sophistication in doing what? Like for eating, they have made kitchenettes nowadays. You know that? Kitchenettes and so many. Sophistication increased in these activities. Eating, sleeping, mating, defending and all that. Similarly for eating, they have, for mating, there is contraceptives. And they make many resort centers and sense gratification facilities for going for honeymoon and all that. Similarly for defending, 50% of the country's money is spent on defense, you will see that. So Prabhupada is saying this is avidya, he says. Because not finding a solution for the birth and death, these guys are simply absorbed in how to make this material world a more comfortable place. That is called avidya. Useless. Yeah, but actually Atma is spiritual, he said. Death is compared to taking off and birth to put on the outward garments. Foolish human beings who are grossly absorbed in the culture of avidya do not mind this cruel process. Enamored with the beauty of the illusory energy, they undergo the same miseries repeatedly. Birth, old age, this is death. Birth, old age, this is death. Repeatedly. Punarapi jananam, punarapi maranam, punarapi janani, jatare shayanam, he said. No? Iha samsare kaludostare kripaya pare pahi murare. Like that Shankara sang this. He said, again and again I am taking birth, again and again I am dying, again and again occupying the wombs of so many mothers. Janani means mother. And kripaya pare, oh Murare, Krishna, please be merciful to me. How long will I have to keep on taking birth in this world? So, therefore, the culture of Vidya or transcendental knowledge is essential for the human being. Sense enjoyment in the diseased material condition must be restricted as far as possible. For example, if you have fever, you can't eat opulent food. You have to wait till the typhoid or fever gets over. Typhoid takes 21 days. At the time, you have to eat some vegetable soups or something very simple. You can't eat pakoda, you can't eat bhaji, you can't eat samosa, although you may like them. But once you are healthy, then you are allowed to eat. But now, you are not. Right now in the material world, the conditioned soul is like a diseased person. Anybody can say, what's our disease now? Why is Prabhupada calling all conditioned souls like us as disease? Trying to enjoy independent of Krishna. That's called Bhogavriti, we call it. So, and also our minds are not clean. Minds are afflicted by the disease of lust, anger, and greed. So that is the disease state. So in that disease state, if you look at the world with the enjoying mentality, we are going to suffer. That's what he is saying. So unrestricted sense enjoyment in this bodily condition is the path of ignorance and death. The living entities are not without spiritual senses. Every living being in his original spiritual form has all the senses, which are now materially manifested, being covered by the material body and mind. This is spoken by Devahuti. Nirvinna nitaram bhuman asadindriya darshanat yena sambhavyamanena prapannandham tamah prabho. She's telling, oh my dear spiritual master, she's telling that my spiritual senses are covered by the blanket of material senses. That's like night when you sleep, you would put a blanket over you. Similarly, the Atma has spiritual senses, but over the Atma, the material body has come, which has got material senses. So the Atma has sadindriya, but the material body has kadindriya. Kad means what? Impure senses. But the Atma has pure senses. But right now, because Atma is identifying with the material body, he is trying to enjoy with which senses? Material senses. So she's saying the material senses are afflicted by lust, anger, and greed, and that's causing me burning in this world. And therefore, and they're always agitated, they're always disturbed by looking at the material world around. They get too easily, sometimes you get angry, sometimes you get greedy, sometimes you get lusty. In this world, she says that please purify my material senses in such a way that they will exactly align with spiritual senses. See, when our material senses become as pure as spiritual senses, then you don't need the material body anymore. You can cast it away and go back to Godhead. Similarly, another person talks about this material senses is our Yayati. He says, Evam varisha sahasrani manashashtair manasukham vidadano apina trupyat sarvabhauma kadindriyaihi. See, he uses the word kadindriya. He's saying that I am a Sarvabhauma, king of the whole world. But Devyani, we both were king and queen. We try to enjoy the world in this material world for 1,000 years. Sahasrani, he says. And the end result is we got only frustrated. He's saying that manashashtair manasukham. It's all a figment of our imagination. Kandutivan manasijam. They are born of the mind, mental concoction only. They never made us happy. And he's saying because our senses are what senses? Kadindriya, he's saying. So now I want to get rid of this impure activities and I want to take up pure activities. Hajamila was indulging in impure activities. He went to Haridwar and engaged the senses in pure activity. Then the Kadindriya became, when all your senses become Sadindriya, then Vaikuntha plane will come to take you back to Godhead. Correct, no? That's what he's saying. It's not that we are without senses. We have senses, spiritual senses, but then they are covered by the blanket of material senses now. So we have to get rid of the material senses by purifying them. Actually, Buddhists try to destroy the senses, say that there are no senses. And Mayavadis also, like Buddhists say, like if you say, you tell your uncle that, I want to, see if I eat, I get some, stomach problem, digestion or something. So your uncle says, stop eating. Completely forget about eating, so you will never have digestion. Because only if you eat only, you will have problem. No, don't eat only. He says, that is Buddhism. And Mayavad means what? He says, see, you are putting spices and also eat plain rice, white rice daily. Just make, how long can you eat plain white rice? That is which religion? Mayavad, impersonalism. But what does Vaishnava philosophy say? See, the problem is in your belly. Go to Ayurvedic doctor. Take some churnam, take some medicine and cure it. Then you can eat all this palav, kadi, rasagulla, everything you can eat. No problem. That is which philosophy? That is Bhakti philosophy. Right now you are diseased, so you take some health sabji now. And when you are completely cured, what you can do? Then you can eat normal. So the Vaishnava philosophy does not deny the senses. Mayavad philosophy denies the engagement of senses, or it gives useless engagement for the senses, or variety-less food. Only plain rice, nothing else you should eat. Variety-less. And Buddhist philosophy says, not only variety-less, no senses only. It says destroy the senses. Whereas Vaishnava philosophy says, use the senses, but for pure engagements, not for impure engagements. So, in this way, In the Srimad Bhagavatam 3rd canto, 15th chapter, there is one verse which says, Yat sankulam haripada nadimatra drishtair vaiduryamarakata hemamayair vimanair yesham brihat katitata asmita shobhimukyah krishnatmana naraja adadurutsmayadhyaihi. This verse says, the Vaikuntha planets, there are also husband-wives, not only in this world, and they are extremely beautiful to look at. The husbands are like the clouds, blue clouds, and the wives are like the lightning, it is said. And they travel in aeroplanes crowded with their consorts. They are laughing, joking, there is mirth and merry, but there is no propensity for sense gratification. And they don't become attracted to each other, they become attracted to Narayana for his service. So purpose is association of opposite sex is there, but there is no indulgence like the sense gratification you see in this world. Man and woman madly attached to each other. That who are they attached to? Supreme Lord. That's the beauty of the spiritual world. Because they have what senses? Impure senses or pure senses? Pure senses. That is the point. Activities of the material senses are perverted reflections of the activities of the original spiritual senses. In his diseased condition, the spirit soul engages in material activities under the material covering. Real sense enjoyment is possible only when the disease of the materialism is removed. In our pure spiritual form, free from all mental contamination, real enjoyment of the senses is possible. A patient must regain his health before he can truly enjoy sense pleasure again. Thus, the aim of human life should not be to enjoy perverted sense enjoyment, but to cure the material disease. Aggravation of the material disease is no sign of knowledge, but a sign of avidya or ignorance. For example, a person should not increase his fever from 105 to 107 because 107 is Maranajvaram. You will die. Instead, you should reduce the temperature from 107 to 98.6. Correct? No? Purpose, we are not telling you to make it zero. We don't say make sense education zero. Who says that make it zero? Buddhists. Yeah, Buddhists say that make it zero. So you stop all sense activities like that. We don't say that. We say that make it 98.6, which means even in Krishna consciousness, how many of you agree? We have sufficient sense gratification we have. You agree? Correct. Now we eat nice prasad, we dance, we sing, we take darshan of the deities, we make friendship, we go for yatras. So many things we have, isn't it? For everything, for senses, for the mind, for the intelligence, you have nice engagements you have. That's the point. Yes. Next para we already done. And then later on, human activities diseased by tendency towards sense gratification has been regulated by the Vedas under the principles of salvation. That is varnashrama. That's what is. And then later on, after a few lines, Prabhupada says, thus, in order to guarantee further sense gratification after death in heaven, there is some system of religious observance. But this is not the purpose of religion. That means going to heaven is not the goal of life. Yeah. A man should, actually, dharma kama is not the goal. Even moksha is not the goal. The pancham purushottam bhakti is the ultimate, very firm platform, which is the eternal platform of the soul. So, one should not aspire for dharma kama moksha also. A man should lead a healthy life with a sound mind just to realize vidya, true knowledge, which is the aim of human life. This life is not meant for working like an ass or for culturing avidya, for sense gratification. The path of vidya is most perfectly presented in Srimad Bhagavatam, which directs a human being to utilize his life to inquire about the absolute truth. The absolute truth is realized step by step as Brahman, Paramatma, and finally Bhagavan. The absolute truth is realized by a broad-minded man who is called Udaradhi, Mahatma or Udaradhi. These are the words used for a Bhagavan worshipper, one who has come to the stage, because he knows about Brahman, Paramatma, and ultimately Bhagavan. Actually, Jnanis only know I am not the body. I am spirit soul. Aham Brahma Asmi. I am spirit soul. I am spirit soul. This is what is the meditation you have to do all day for them. Why they are saying that? Because we tend to forget I am spirit soul. We generally tend to think I am the body. So they keep on saying I am spirit soul. And the Paramatmavadi, what he does, he understands that not only spirit soul I am there is also Paramatma, super soul. Sarva Bhuta Guhavasam. So Prabhupada says, three words he uses. For the Jnanis, Param Jyoti, he says. They only know the Param Jyoti and they think, I am the Param Jyoti. They think like that. And for the yogis, he says, Bhagavatam says, Sarva Bhuta Guhavasam. He meditates on the Lord who resides in the heart of all living beings. And for the Bhaktas, there is Bhagavantam Adokshajam, he uses. So in one verse, all the three comes in Bhagavatam. So which is our target? Goal. Bhagavantam Adokshajam. Bhagavantam, as soon as it was used the word Bhagavantam, 6 opulences come immediately. And he is also Adokshajam, means beyond the range of the ordinary senses. By bhakti alone, he can be understood. So in this way, Bhagavatam presents it very perfectly, all the three. The central purpose of this, and the absolute truth is realized by the broad-minded man who has attained knowledge and detachment by following the 18 principles of the Bhagavad Gita described in the purport of Mantra 10, correct? Amanitvam, Adamitvam, culture of knowledge. The central purpose of these 18 principles is the attainment of transcendental devotion service to the personality of Godhead. That is, Ananya, what is that? Bhakti Avyabhicharani, he said, no? Yeah, what is that? No. I'm not talking another verse. The same list I am saying. Mayicha Ananya Yogena Bhaktir Avyabhicharini. That's actually the main item out of those 18 items. Therefore, all classes of men are encouraged to learn the art of devotion service to the Lord. And then he's quoting from Bhakti Sindhu. The culture of Vidya is summarized in Srimad Bhagavatam in the following words. Thus, we'll recite this together. Tasmadekena manasa bhagavan satpatam patihi shrotavyah kirtitavyascha dhyeyah pujyascha nityada. Translation.
Therefore, with one pointed attention, one should constantly hear about, glorify, remember, and worship the personality of Godhead, who is the protector of the devotees.
Yeah, this is the ultimate goal that one should focus on. Read the last para.
Unless religion, economic development, and sense gratification aim toward the attainment of devotional service to the Lord, they are all simply different forms of nescience, as Sri Isopanishad indicates in the following mantras.
I'll show you one interesting verse in this connection. Nehayat karma dharmaya na viragaya kalpate na tirtha pada sevayai jivan napi mrito hi saha. 3:23:56. Read it.
Anyone whose work is not meant to elevate him to religious life, anyone whose religious ritualistic performances do not raise him to renunciation, and anyone situated in renunciation that does not lead him to devotional service to the Supreme Personality of Godhead must be considered dead, although he is breathing.
That is saying. See, for example, first he is saying that the work. First will lead to what? No, religious life. That will lead to? That will lead to? Right, no? So, okay, this is what he's saying. So, for example, somebody is doing Varna Ashrama according to that. Brahman, Kshatriya, Vaishya, Shudra. So he is doing Varna. Only the Varna he is adopting now. But while doing his job as per the Vedic text, he has to offer the fruits to whom? Lord Vasudeva. He says, no, Svesve karmani abhirataha samsiddhim labate naraha svakarmah nirataha siddhim yatha vindati tatshuno yatha pravrittir bhutanam yena sarvamidam tatam svakarmana atam abhyarchya siddhim vindati manavaha. Like that Krishna says in 2 verses, how to perfect your work. You can perfect your work by offering the fruits to the Supreme Lord. That's where the religious life comes. If he is doing work, making money, maintaining his family, eating food and producing children like cats and dogs, then he is not considered perfect. So now he has come to religious life now. But then the Yajnik Brahmanas are doing religious life nicely. But there are people who are religious but not becoming renounced. Prachina Parishad, the example. He was doing wonderful yajnas, but he sent his sons to the forest for purifying themselves, but he didn't go to forest. So therefore his life was also imperfect. Who made him perfect? Narada Muni. When Narada Muni came, Prachina Parishad said, my dear great sage, the teachers who taught me cheated me actually. They told Karmakanda is the goal of life, so I became a great Nishnat, Kriya Kandesha Nishnatam, he says. But now after hearing from you, I understood Bhakti to Lord Vasudeva is the Supreme. So immediately he took to devotion service and perfected his life after that. Similarly, the Tattvavadis are thinking that we just do our own work and everything and offer the fruits to Vishnu, that's it. So Mahaprabhu said that's not the goal. Awakening love for God, that is the goal. Simply offering the fruits to God is on the platform of duty. Whereas awakening, like if a son says, because my parents have done so much for me in my early days, in my childhood and all, now I am in America, I am making money, so it's my duty to send them money. That is not a very great platform. But if a boy says, I want to return to India and be with my parents because they are very old now, I want to serve them, take care of them, that is love. Is it not true? Or I take them with me and then I give them devotional service, I myself become a devotee. Then in this way you will see that some people are religious, but they are not becoming renounced. They are becoming bigger and bigger sense gratification. Prabhupada says, I am a big devotee, and you are doing big sense gratification also. Big eating, big sleeping. Then that is not religion, Prabhupada says. If you say you are a big devotee, it means renunciation also should be big, yeah. Then you are a big devotee, he says. So that means, even after becoming religious, some people still remain sense gratifiers. That means renunciation is not arising. Vairagya is not coming. Vairagya vidya, nijabhakti yogam, shiksha kame, eka, purusha purana, Sri Krishna Chaitanya Sharira Dhari, Avam Buddhir Tam Tamham Prapadye. Like that he sang this. Who? Sarvabhattacharya. So our Krishna conscious path is called what Vidya? Vairagya Vidya. One more verse is there. Where Gaura Bhagavan, Prita Haya Gaura Bhagavan. What is it? Mahaprabhu Re Bhaktagan Vairagya Pradhan, it says. Ihan Deki Prita Haya Gavara Bhagavan. That means Lord Chaitanya becomes pleased when he sees Vairagya in his devotees, he says. And what is Vairagya? Vairagya actually means, detaching oneself from anything that does not elevate us in Krishna consciousness. That is Vairagya. Anything that is degrading us to go down and become attached to material world, that is opposed to the Vairagya. Real Vairagya actually means one is able to blissfully be absorbed in Krishna consciousness. Therefore, that's such a very beautiful verse. We'll conclude with this. So we have completed the verse with a little extra time. Yeah. So now 3 verses, Vidya, Avidya. The first verse talked about, you all know what it is. There so-called Vidya was criticized. And the modern day education as well as Karma Mimamsakas were criticized. Or not only Karma Mimamsakas, all the 6 systems of philosophy which don't lead to devotion service, they are all criticized in that verse. So-called Vidya. And Avidya is nescience there. What was Avidya criticized there? Ignorance. Ignorance of the body soul difference. So that is Vidya in the 9th verse. And the 10th verse, Vidya, the purpose of all education is to make you lead a life of culture and character. 18 items of knowledge were elaborated there in the 10th verse, correct, no? And then now in this verse, what is the Vidya that is being spoken here? If you see, this verse talked about miseries of the material. Hiranyakashipu making a what attempt? One-sided attempt. That means one-sided which side? Material side or spiritual side? Material side. He made a one-sided material endeavors. Not only Hiranyakashipu, even modern times you feel people are making one-sided material attempt in their life, right from childhood to college and even up to the end of their life. Even at least little bit spiritual time also they don't give. They say there's no time. They're making what attempt? One-sided. That was criticized. So that is called avidya. And Vidya actually means a spiritual program which leads to pure devotion service eventually. And the reasons Prabhupada gave why we should do that. Because there is birth, old age, disease, death. The miseries of the material world are indirect indicators for us to wake up to the call of the scriptures. And one should cultivate spiritual knowledge because the only wealth that will come with you is spiritual life. And material life, everything is left behind. So in this way, this purport clearly points out difference between material life and spiritual life and the importance of spiritual life. And how to get rid of the miseries of material existence and be situated blissfully in our platform of soul. That is actual Vidya. And one shouldn't be caught up in the avidya of hard-working asses, Prabhupada gives example, or gratifying the senses in a diseased state, Kadindriya, Sadindriya, all that. So now the Vidya verses are over now in these three verses. Now the next will be Sambhutim and Asambhutim. That will be another 2-3 verses. Shri Prabhupada ki or Bhakta Vrinda ki. Thank you very much.
Hare Krishna devotees, we'll stop here. We'll continue again in the next week. Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Shri Isopanishad ki jai, Nikai Gaur Premanande, Hare Hare.